Well, it's late. And that's my final day of the training done. Got a couple of meditations to catch up on, but that's all. The Grace training was truly amazing, as it always is. And I find it so important to come together and to talk, because when we're sitting on our own and sitting with our stuff and we're suffering, it's a really heavy weight to carry. But when you reach out and you manage to connect with someone, then, you know, that's the time that things start to change. And this training that I've been doing has been reminding me of that. And it's so important that we bridge the gaps of divisiveness in society with compassion, with a whole heart, and with love. There's so much reactivity, so much grief, so much suffering with the losses of identity, of the losses of people, the losses of places, the losses of so many things in our lives that were once there and commonplace that now are not. And it's really hard to get our heads round, especially when we stay on our own. There is nothing wrong in solitude. There is nothing wrong with hanging out on your own. But we all need some form of connection to a community, whether that be online or in person, because that's what really helps us build up our resilience and help us manage the shit that we've got going on. Sometimes we're not able to, because of a trauma response, say, we're not able to manage those things on our own. We're not able to process these things fully. We're not able to recognize those things until we can sit and talk and say it out loud and be seen and heard and feel that in some way we have, you know, what we've got to share is valid. And it's always valid. And what you've got to share isn't just always valid, but you know how many other people feel very similar or have similar situations, and by reaching out to all these different people, we are able to connect, and we're able to bridge the divides in ourselves where we've got our own inner fights going on, and we're able to bring together mind, body and spirit, and to become stronger and more capable to carry on and be what we need in society today. So I've been taking part in 3 days of Grace training with the Upaya Zen Center, which I'm so grateful for, because the work that they do and the legacy that Roshi Joan has created for us has allowed us to become so much stronger, so much more knowledgeable, and so much more capable of coming together and supporting one another from stable footings, teaching us how to get a stable foundation so that we can move on from the stuckness and the insecurities of where we are to feeling secure in the insecurities that there are in society today. And the reason why we can feel so secure in the not knowing is because we're able to ground ourselves. We're able to allow what is, and we're able to make a peace with ourselves so that we can come to an acceptance and understanding of ourselves and other people without the judgment. This kind of thing, this kind of work is priceless. It enables us to sit with the suffering that you wouldn't think it possible to sit with. You know, the amount of sharings this weekend where people have shared true suffering in every sense of the word, from so many different perspectives, from the cared for to the carers to the professional carers to the family and friends caring to the doctors and nurses and teachers and police officers and people caring in society today. And it shows how abundant we are as a human race, and how it's global, that together we're coming together, we're rising up to just be more compassionate and understanding and bring love and understanding to the situations that we're in and that we face together as a collective. And this is helping heal. It's healing ourselves, it's healing each other, and it's healing globally. It helps you to realise you're not alone. It helps you find hope in the darkest of situations where you didn't think hope was possible. It helps you move through life in a more kind, considerate, caring way, with an open heart, where your heart is truly open and able to love, instead of pushing people away, and instead of pushing even yourself away from yourself. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we do. Rather than sit with ourselves, we can be so cruel. We don't even allow ourselves the basics of what people I would have called self-care until this weekend. And it's not, it's self-stewardship. It's knowing that we have a responsibility to ourselves and to others to take care of ourselves, so we can do the work, so we can show up when it's called for, so we can live more mindfully and purposefully. And like Cinder had said, it's not the time to push away mindfulness. It's the time to bring in more mindfulness and find a way to live more consciously, more aware. Because mindfulness helps bring us back into our senses. It brings us back to center. It brings us into the heart space. It allows us to experience the world in a much more thoughtful, connected way, where we're allowing ourselves those human experiences. It's all so important, so valid in today's society, that we start to come together and to hold space for others. And we're all teachers now, you know. We all have so much we can share with one another that is so, so important, that is so impactful, and from a heart place, from a heartfelt place. And as much as people think that, you know, we can be our own worst critics, we really can, and people think that they've not got enough, or they're not good enough, or they haven't got something to share, but we've all got something to share. We are all so experienced in our own living and our own lives. There is so much we can do, that we have done, that we can do, that we will do. And we can do more. But it's finding that candle in the window. It's finding that glimmer of hope and realising that actually it's possible. It's possible to take our power back. It's possible to find love and understanding. It's possible to find people that genuinely can hold space for you without being triggered, without being activated, without being closed-hearted, you know. The armours that we put up as humans, the protective armour that we feel we have to walk around with, the way that we're so defensive, trying to protect ourselves all the time. But mindfulness can bring us back. It can bring us back to centre. It can allow us to tune back in to our prefrontal cortex after we manage to reset our parasympathetic nervous system by coming into the body. You know, it's so important, that body, mind, spirit connection. So important. So I just wanted to share the wonders of continued training through the amazing things that the Upaya Zen Center gifts and makes accessible for all, and the amazing work that they do, and the amazing team that they have, and the amazing books available through Roshi Joan Halifax. We've got the Standing on the Edges, her latest book. And it's really about being at the edges of all these different places, like standing at the edge of grief. You know, when you're just right at the edge and it's like, you feel like you could fall off sometimes, some of the emotional states that we get in, you know? And it's finding a way of being more resilient. And I've got to read all the book yet. So, you know, I've still got plenty to read before I can give a full honest review. I've you know, Being with the Dying, another really good book to support people who are dancing with death. And Grace, something that was brought through Roshi Joan quite some time ago, and I'm not even sure how long, but I discovered Grace training just over 3 years ago, and that helped me hold space and give me the capacity I never thought was possible to be present for someone that I love with all my heart in the midst of their incredible suffering. So I really recommend the Upaya Zen Center's Grace training, and you can get it for a donation online, and I'm going to put the links on the YouTube video so you can get in there and head that way. and check out the training, and it's really, it's going to benefit you in so many ways, and it's got the power to change your life. So from me, who's very excited, full of love, and rather tired here in Portugal, I'm going to take Batty. I'm going to go to bed. And I really look forward to seeing you in hopefully tomorrow.